Perfect. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Monday. Let me get the board. Can you see, like, let's see. If I write on the board, can you see this? Is that all right? Actually, it's not chest. It's upper body. This is technically, let's find out. You guys can see that? Oh, BRB. All right. Do an 8th level. Not weed. We're doing a week. Week 2. Upper body day 1. Can you guys, want me to move it forward? There, is that better? Yeah, that has to be better. You have to be able to see that. All right, so like always, we are doing our workouts through the 1-year beginner's handbook. I know I bring this up every time, but I am working my way through level 8, which is a 4-day upper lower gym split. And we're making some accommodations and modifications just based on how we're feeling, equipment availability, and everything like that. And I want to do this because A, I wrote the book, and B, it says in the very beginning of this book to use it as like a module to where you're the DM, this is your campaign, you can adjust the rules as needed. And so that is how I want to operate this, to where we're going to make changes as needed. So what we're doing first today, we're doing bench. 3 by 10, of course. I always do 3 by 10. I think I explained why, but I can later. Then we're doing barbell, bent over rows, 3 by 10. And then dumbbell incline fly, which we might change. Incline. So we're doing that, and then we're going to do bis and tris at the end. Which last week, bis and tris were sculls and curls, and then I did curls and overhead press, or overhead extension with the easy curl bar. So I think we'll do something to that effect today. Oh, bitch. I need to get a better setup here. But did not take a pre-workout today, so that is fun. How is that? That is not good. Bird made really good meatloaf. I have yet to eat it because I'm just about to go work out. So, how is that? Is that positioning looking good? I might move it over a little bit, but where'd my other go? It's right here. So today, going to do bench, and we benched Saturday. We had our Halloween party, our annual Halloween party. And for some reason, when the boys get a little liquored up, they like to see who can bench the most. And with me being the only one that really works out, well, there's a couple others that do. And then being sober, I naturally won that. But I also was still sore from when we lifted both Monday and Thursday. And so I'm gonna do a warm up. I'm gonna see how it feels, but I might do dumbbell instead, and that'll be a good kind of teaching moment, if you will. Let me put this over here. So again, this is the 1-year beginner handbook. If you want this completely free PDF, the link, or it is in our Discord server. The link is going to be in my bio on Instagram, and it's in Discord, obviously. And chances are, if you're watching this, you are from one of those two places. If you're watching the VOD, then the link is going to be in the description. Move this up a bit. I feel like I'm always down, but let's this up. There. I need to find a better system here. I know I say that every time, but we're getting there. That's crooked as all hell, but it's okay. All right, I'm gonna do a warm up. Oh, and for the record, because I can see the comments now, there are actual warm-ups in here. Not a whole lot, but there are some warm-up exercises in there, as well as core and cool down. I said last week that when we're starting this, I'm going to eliminate core for at least the first 2 weeks, because I want to lower the barrier to entry to get a workout in. So there are warm-ups in here. I do a little bit different though. Again, it's like a module. Change the rules how you want. Alright, empty bar, see how we're feeling. That's not bad. You know, I still might do dumbbell because I would want to teach that instead. We moved the safety bars because everybody was smaller than me. Oh, that is an inappropriate shot. What up, buddy? I'm doing lightweight today. I'm doing lightweight. There's that. Yep, we're doing dumbbells. Hey, pickle foot. The one and only pickle feet. Pickle foot, pickle feet, pickle face. Man by many names. There. Active, no, not active rest day. It's just lazy workout day. I am, what's up, son? So for those of you just jumping in, I benched with pickles on Saturday, and my shoulders are still a little sore, and I figured this would be a good time to do a little regressed version of bench. So we're going to do 65 pounds on the dumbbells. And try not to hit Bird's car. Do I have enough weight? I don't know if I have enough weight. Where do all my weights go? Oh, I just got, wait, no, I don't have enough weight. Let's do 5. Yeah. Oh, I might. I forgot, I have dumbbells in the car, or in our room, our living room. Because Bird said she wanted to work out, and I think last winter I brought him in, and well, it was last summer, and I don't think she's touched him since. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I know I mentioned this before, but I really like these dumbbells. They take, you know, some time to set up, but these bad boys aren't going anywhere. You're going to be passing these on to your grandkids. They're a heck of a lot better than the Nordic dial ones that I have that I got recalled because they fall on you. Alright, chat, how are we doing? Everybody talking crap? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Pickle, hey, you tried. You tried like 3 times, dude. She's eating dinner. Bird is the official moderator, except she doesn't actually know how to mod. So. Also, don't forget to start your watch, or else the workout doesn't count. Alright, we're gonna do 3x10 dumbbell. The reason why I'm doing dumbbell over barbell bench, because my shoulders are sore, is because it allows me to keep my shoulder in a safer position by keeping my elbows tucked and my hands into a more neutral grip. So let's try 65 pounds, probably pretty heavy, but let's give it a try. So I'm doing more neutral. 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, I actually want to go down and wait. I can feel the stress. I dropped my new AirPods. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go down 10 pounds. Picklefoot, I did warn you on what is not allowed. Oh. So let's drop weight. That was 65. That felt good, but feeling it a little bit in my shoulder. So let's drop it. We're not here to impress anybody. Not yet. Not until the shirt comes off. Which, Saturday, Picklefoot was very quick to take his shirt off and show a very nice star-spangled set of lederhosens, which is kind of an oxymoron there, but he looked very sexy. Boom. Oh. Be strong, I need to. What is your technique for keeping both arms steady? You mean for dumbbells? Dumbbell or barbell? Dumbbell? That's a great question. That's the whole point of dumbbells, is to create an unstable surface. And so if you, I'm adjusting one of my cameras here. If you're struggling with stability, for example, then I would do light weight, so that way you can control it, because chances are if you are not able to stay stable, then your dumbbells are kind of like all over the place. Kind of like when people first start benching, like barbell, the bar is like all over and they can't control it on the way down. And so best bet would be shoulder blades back and down, big chest, like you're walking on the beach, and then just come down nice and slow. So control the weight by going slow. Control the weight on the way down. Don't let it control you. All right. 55. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. And remember, if your shoulders and elbows are cracking, It means you're doing it right. So that felt good. I'm gonna stay there. Do you power pop the push when using dumbbells? Oh, it's my hips. No, you don't need to. You can. You can. The question is, do you use your hips? Do you push through your floor, engaging your hips when doing dumbbell bench? You can, but normally when you're doing dumbbells, it's probably lighter weight than like your 1 rep max, so you don't really need to, versus doing a bench, which you can do heavy weight with. Ooh, I run out of water here. Yeah, that felt good. I've lost so much weight that my watch doesn't fit right anymore. Oh, speaking of which, we had our party, right? And so like this whole weekend, my diet consisted of cake, pie, well not cheesecake, whatever you're going, is that a pie or is that a cake? So pie, Burger King, a lot of chocolate covered pretzels. And then we had 2 different casseroles, which was really good. I would consider that more on the healthy side. And a lot of just overall general junk food, and at least fast food twice, I think maybe more. And I lost 2 pounds over the weekend, so take that for what it's worth. But to be fair, I was like 1.5 pounds heavier than what I normally weigh in on Friday. I think it's because I had Burger King on Thursday maybe. But I also hit a new low weight this morning. So I'm taking that as a victory. Next set. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you're still feeling it in your shoulders with your elbows tucked in, then just go way light and go slower reps, because elbows tucked in, it really keeps your shoulders in a nice safe position, as safe as possible. And if you're still feeling the stress, then go lower weight and just go slow. Go more of a tempo, like a 1-2 on the way down and then a 1 or 1-2 on the way up. You don't need to do any explosive movements. What does it feel like to be God's favorite? Do I have any certain technique holding the dumbbells? I hold them in the middle. So right here. Zoom that over row. Is that my 3rd set? Yeah, that's my 3rd set. We're doing barbell. Oh, I lost my safety rails too. Damn it. Oh. Well, let's just do them. We'll do double arm with our dumbbells. So I don't want to set the safety rails up. Oh. How's that? Oh, update on the leg press. No update. I messaged them today. It's been 6 weeks since I ordered this bastard, and it still hasn't, it's not fully complete. And so I messaged them today after over 2 weeks of them sending the replacement part, which October 13th. October 1st I told them I was missing parts. October 13th they sent me an updated tracking information for the replacement parts, and the tracker simply said label created. And
it is what, today's the 27th, and the update, it hasn't changed. So the tracking still says label updated. They insist that it's on its way, and they said it's from China, but the label says that it was printed or created in the USA. You know, they could be using VPN or whatever, but no update. Filed a claim through Amazon finally, and I messaged them letting them know that I want some kind of refund, and we'll see what happens, because I'm a patient guy, but that's pissing me off. Alright, so I don't want to set up the dumbbell, or I don't want to set up the barbell, so we're going to do dumbbell bent over row with 2 dumbbells. Last week we did single arm, where we were supported on the bench to help with your back if you have tension in your lower back, but now we're going to fully embrace that stress and do 2 hands at the same time. And so, best way to do this is same way. Straight back, come through, go straight to the ribs. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It actually does feel good. I don't really do them, but these that often. Sweatshirt off. Damn. Oh, I'll just put it on my leg press. That's the best thing for this. It's the best use of it right now. Ooh, I wanted to vent about some things today. Alright, that felt good. I'm gonna take a break for a second. Yes. So, I know I talk about this book a lot, because to be somewhat dramatic, this is kind of a culmination of all of the, not work, but all of the free resources that I've done. I've put all of this together into a 330-page ebook that I printed off. There's not a print version available, but the ebook is completely free. And the reason why I did this is because I want people to have the structure. I want this to be like your player's handbook, but for fitness. And you don't understand how many people we actually talk to that really want to get started, but they just don't know where to start. And there's always conflicting information online, right? I can show you a study that says carbs are the enemy. I can show you another one that says fats are the enemy, and I can show you one that says proteins are the enemy. And between those three research studies, you can't eat anything. And so a lot of conflicting information, a lot of false information out there, a lot of false information out there. And so I try to create something that is very beginner friendly, very user friendly, and something that at least allows you to have some semblance of structure, some semblance of knowledge, and teach you some of the tools and tips along the way. And not just the workouts, but there's also a meal prep guide on how to actually create your own meal plan. Very simple, effective ways with meals that take 20 minutes to cook. There are 40 high protein recipes in there to play around with. Some of them take a little bit longer than 20 minutes, but some of my most successful clients, and even just successful people in the Discord, like I've had people tell me that they just take this or some of our other resources and just kind of go through them line by line, and you know, they make the meals from the cooking and shopping guide or from this cookbook, and they follow the cooking and shopping guide, they follow the sleep guide, they're doing the workout program, which I call it a couch to gym rat program, and they're seeing results. And that's what I want. I want somebody who doesn't know where to start to open this book up and be able to scroll through it and figure out where they want to start and go from there. And I've had a lot of people tell me that it's been helpful. And so if I can help people by doing something like this, then I feel like I'm serving my purpose in life. And so again, if you want this book completely free in the Discord, I'm pretty sure I saw Bird put it there. I don't know if that link works. Somebody can double check her. But there's a lot of value in here. 330 pages, 327 I think to be exact. And we're actually working on making it an actual printable book, or a print book, a physical copy, because right now this is just a combination of all the PDFs printed off. So there's a lot of formatting issues and page number issues and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my spiel. That there, and we're hitting this. See if you can see my back a little bit better. There, see, boom, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to be all the way down for this. You can be 8, 9, 10. I like doing a little bit more upright because it helps with the upper back, kind of like the mid traps area. And I want to fill that out a little bit more. So yeah, that's that. Incline fly. Okay, I want to do. Let's do incline flies because I don't think I've done those yet. I do need to reduce all of these weights. It is cold metal. It is like 45 degrees here. 25s? What do you think, chat? 25s? No, let's do school light, shoulders are hurting. Because I did incline last week, yeah. Look at that nice rounded back. Look like a fucking turtle. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh, well, if it doesn't work well, clicking it through your phone, I think most people are gonna view it through the phone. Oh, also, you guys like my mustache? You can't quite tell, but when I trimmed my beard, I left the old long mustache for our party. And I never shaved it. The theme was cultural heritage, and with all of us being poor white kids, ended up being white trash bash. I was dressed up as Joe Exotic. I didn't try to be, but I just ended up looking like him. You get all 4. No. Son of a bitch. Almost got taken out. Yeah, that's what I'm. That's why I'm trying to become an affiliate. So when I become an affiliate, which ideally should be after this stream, I can allow like subscriptions and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily trying to go for subs and bits, but it's just, I guess, one step closer to being a super famous mega influencer. What I really want, this is actually a good topic. Let me put this up so I can sit down. Yeah, so what I really want is, I'm making this content to help people, right? That's a big goal of mine. Is same thing with the book. I want to educate, I want to inspire others, I want to motivate others. And if using this as like a weighted body double and get your workout buddy, great. But what I also want, like long term, is I want to try to be as authentic as possible, present my authentic self. You see me work out in my cold, half finished garage with a very expensive hunk of useless metal behind me. And also with that, trying to provide as much free value as possible, but then also get either clients come in who are, you know, they watch my streams, they like my vibe, they like the cut of my jib, etc., etc. But then also other ways for people to support the channel, either through ad revenue in the future, which is why I have the VODs on YouTube, but then also other subs, bits, etc., etc., etc. And so that's kind of the goal down the road, is mostly want to present my authentic self and provide as much value as possible, but then also kind of open up other channels for people to be able to support and engage in ways that best fits them. And ideally down the road, ad revenue. So that way people don't feel compelled to support the channel if they don't need to. So, incline flies. We did incline bench last week. So we're gonna do incline flies. I am going really lightweight because my shoulder is a little tricky. Normally, if your shoulder is really feeling it, you might not want to do flies, but I feel like my shoulder is fine, it's just a little sore. So, going up, coming down, you can get that nice big chest open up. And you want to come down to where you feel just a bit of a stretch. Don't go too far. And really, kind of going off of what Pickle asked earlier, you really want to control the weight on the way down. So this is like, you know, maybe a 1, 2, maybe 3 count down, where you're not just dropping it and then trying to catch it at the bottom, but just nice and relaxed. I have no idea what number that is. We'll say that's 6. So come down, 7. And you can also squeeze at the top. 8. If you want, you can squeeze the plates together. You can try pushing the dumbbells together. Is that 8, 9? I'll do 2 more. Oh, there we go. That felt good. It was very lightweight. Didn't hurt. It felt good. How did that look? Etc. Yeah. It's from Split. Etc. Which is a great movie, by the way. So, I mentioned meal plans, right, that are in the beginner's handbook. And I have a strong opinion on meal plans. No, I would not. Would you go heavy on flies? I would not. I would go heavier than 15 pounds. Like I said, I'm going purposely light. I'm erring on the side of caution. But I would not go heavy with flies. As far as like reps, I honestly probably wouldn't go any lower than like 8 reps for flies, because your lever, your arm is your lever. It is a very large lever. It's putting a lot of pressure on a very mobile joint. So like your hips and shoulders are very mobile. And when you have a very mobile joint, it can increase the risk of injury just because of range of motion. And so you have a long lever arm, putting a lot of force at the farthest point of your lever arm, coming on a joint that can be at a higher risk of injury. And so and it's also stretching your muscle, you're stretching your pec in a way that normal bench doesn't, because you're going beyond a normal range of motion. And all of that leads to potential increased risk of injury to where you do not need to go heavy. I wouldn't go heavy for accessories. I consider this an accessory. You don't need to go heavy for like curls, anything tricep related. You should go heavy for benches, your main lifts, bench, squat, deadlift, overhead press, and then maybe like secondary or foundational lifts, which is what we talked about last week. And so, yeah, I made a diagram on the board last week, how I create a workout program, or how I structure an actual workout. And so the accessory portion I would not go heavy on. Great question, Picklefoot. I feel like that was probably more than you bargained for, but ask and you shall receive. All right, I'm going to talk about meal plans after the set. So going down, big up. Also with this, we talked about retracting your scaps. For bench, you can do the same thing. That will help keep your shoulder into a strong position. So keeping your shoulder blades back and down. The trick, the mental cue is shoulder blades in your back pocket. Can help with keeping that shoulder back in its socket and reduce the risk of injury. I have no idea what that was. We'll say that is good enough. So cool. All right, meal plans. This book has like 40 high protein meals that you can play around with super easy ingredients, normal ingredients, easy to do, varying levels of difficulty, but they're in there. There's also an example meal plan with an example shopping list to go with this. And all that to say, I don't like meal plans. I think meal plans are a way for somebody to metaphorically give you fish rather than teach you how to fish. Meaning, I want you to be able to come up with a structured meal plan on your own, using foods that you like, using ingredients that appease your palate, and so that way you don't feel like you're at the mercy of this book or whatever meal plan you find online. So many bullshit meal plans, keto friendly this, bullshit friendly that, etc. But what I do like about meal plans and recipes and cookbooks is I like to use them think of them as like a curated menu of foods that will fit your calories and macros. So for example, our clients, with like literally the click of a button, I can assign them a customized meal plan to fit their calories and macros, and it allows them to swap out the meals that they don't like for meals that they do like, and with one touch of a button they can generate a week-long shopping list. And so for a large amount of convenience, they can get things that are pretty well customized to fit them, but it might not be tailor fit to their taste palette. And so I do like having that, because I do like giving them that option, because again, it's a curated menu of foods that they can choose from if they do want to come up with a dinner here or lunch there. And they know that's going to fit their calories and macros, rather than them saying, this is the next 21 meals that I'm going to eat throughout this week. I don't like that, because then it becomes all or nothing. And then there's that one day where you don't want to eat that breakfast or that lunch, and everything else goes to shit because all hell breaks loose. You binge eat Taco Bell, then for dinner you have 2 large pizzas. It becomes all or nothing. And so that's why I don't like meal plans, but I do also have a meal plan guide in there. But the cooking and shopping guide is to help you develop the tools and skills to create your own meal plan. And that's what I like, and that's what a lot of our clients do. Is my last step? Yeah, I only did 2. Pickle, I see that question. I can't read it. I will read it after this. 1. This actually feels decent. Like I can feel the stretch in my shoulder. I don't want to go too hard, like I said, but I wanted to do this for educational purposes only. 4, I think, no, that's 5. 6, I hope there's people watching the VODs that like count my reps, because they probably do them with me, and then they're like, dude, that was like 13 and you were only supposed to do 10, or that was like 8 and you're supposed to do 10. I probably do more than what I'm supposed to. See, like that, I have no idea what that is. We'll say that's 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Now we're gonna do bis and tris. I like the skulls to curl combo, so that's what we'll do today. Anything in that book I can make a bulk of and freeze. I'm not a slow reader, I'm just blind. That's a great question. I don't know. I will say that they're not meant to be bulk made, but there are some things, like there's a stew. I'm not gonna be able to find it, but there's stuff like stews in here that do make larger portions. And so if you like double the recipe, you could probably make a good amount of the Ale House stew and be able to freeze it and stuff like that. And yeah, like there's trail mix, like there's a lot of stuff that you can probably like double up and make enough to freeze it. But then there's stuff like this casserole, you probably wouldn't want to freeze a casserole. And so yes and no to both. I do need a tablet. I was thinking, I have the laptop that Bird uses. I was thinking about bringing that out here, but then she can't use it. So I feel like my actual camera is like crooked. All right, chat. We're We do bis and tris. I'm gonna go up to weight. We're gonna do sculls and then curls. Seated curls, which I think is what we did last week. Oh, I did BFR last week. I'm not gonna do that this week. Yeah, I did. How's that? Where are you going? You gotta run away. Bird made meatloaf today with half turkey and half beef. That's a good way to kind of limit calories. Alright, what do you think? 35s? You think 35 is okay? I also might start taking creatine too. Yeah, picklefoot. Yeah, yes. Pickle, yes, there are breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and then also snacks and shakes in there for a total of like 40 different recipes. There's 30 high protein recipes in the actual cookbook part, and then there's a starter kit in there as well that have 10 different recipes for a total of 40. The starter kit is a ebook, my first actual free ebook that I made 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago probably. And it's like a mini version of the player's handbook. So that's only like 30 pages. So that's kind of a good place to start because it gives you an overall vibe of what to expect, and it's body weight workouts and everything. So it's like a 1 week plan. And I really liked that, and I think it was a really good thing to start with because it's a 1 week plan that you can actually use like for like 8 to 12 weeks. We talked about newbie gains last week. You can do the same thing for like 12 weeks and see decent results if you're like a complete basic novice and like a first level adventurer. And that's what the starter kit's made for. That's who the starter kit is made for. Yeah, we were gonna have tater tot casserole, that Frito dip, Frito casserole, and then meatloaf. Which I was like, that's a lot of food. And also apparently meatloaf and tater tot casserole are white trash. That's like my childhood. Shot when I do that? Yeah. You guys clearly want to watch me do this and not just listen to me. Okay, how is that? You can see that. Frito pie, yeah. That was really good stuff. It was all of the food was good. The only thing I had a hand in was making the candies, the pretzel cigarettes. All right, we're doing 10 of each. 1, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man. Back like a year and a half ago, I think last summer, I was doing these with blood flow restriction bands on at 45 pounds. And this was 35 and this show is heavy. Scroll up on this stream. Oh. No. I'm not doing preacher curls. Why do you ask? I can show you how to do preacher curls. No, I don't have the proper preacher curl setup. Like some benches will have that set up, but I can show you how to do it on the back of it. Back of a bench. Give me a second. Give me a second. I think there's another rant in here somewhere. I'm still pissed off about that guy. That guy that said I don't give enough free content out, and I made a goddamn textbook for fucking free. Link in bio. No. Oh, I saw this post. Somebody sent me this post. I'm probably gonna react to it. This bitch has like over 1 million followers, and it was like foods I would avoid if I want a flat stomach, and it was pretty much all the processed foods that are in like the middle of your grocery store. Like, you know how they say shop the perimeter, which is like tends to be produce, then like meat and dairy, and then like eggs. It was like everything inside of that, and it was like, sure, you can easily overindulge or overconsume calories when you are eating more processed foods, but you can also be completely shredded and have highly processed foods. And so for her to say that was just stupid, and I'll probably make a post shitting on her about it. Alright, Pickle, did you ask me a question? How would you do preacher curls when you're driving? Or when you're on the road? I'll show you how to do preacher curls though. So, if you don't have a preacher curl set up, if you're somebody who just has like a bench and dumbbells, then you can easily do something like this, where those are gonna be too heavy for me, but fuck it, let's find out. Where you put your armpit here, elbow here, and just come up. So you're really isolating all of this, and then keep that there for stability. So let's use this as our set. Pickle foot made us pull an audible. I don't know what that is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, those were bad reps, but it's okay. This will be a lot easier. Just punch myself in the face. Give myself a Kentucky facelift. What's that for? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Boom. Now I'll do skulls. There we go. Felt good. That was heavy, but good. And a cooler, nice. Do you have like bands or do you use the weights? You said you do them. So for you said you're on the road, so you're driving, and then you said you prop them up with a door and a cooler. Also, going on about my content strategy, content plan, I also wouldn't mind having it when people can donate and sub and everything like that, to where they can force me to change up the workouts. I think that'd be fun. Kind of like what I just did with preacher curls. I think that would be fun, but maybe after this stream. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. When I had a client who was a long hauler, he would be gone like Monday through Thursday, so he had a pretty consistent schedule. And we would do bands, like we had a small pack of bands, and he would either have them hooked up on the outside of his truck, or he would do stuff like in his bunk, laying down. And he also had a Planet Fitness membership, so we would do gym stuff on the weekends. But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, last set, best set. I did go for a walk today. I think that was fun. Oh, it's cold. It was fun. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Let's do alternating. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, halfway. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Balls. Oh, that form is probably ass. Alright, how'd that feel? Look good? Alright. Let me take a break. A few seconds to breathe. And then, kind of early. It's about an hour. My watch was 40 minutes, so it's about expected, especially since I don't do core. Yeah. You guys want me to bust out the whiteboard and draw and draft something up? I think I ranted about everything I wanted to rant about. Yeah. Excuse me. Awesome. Class time. It's the Tim's. Yes, you'll be happy to know that these are $40 work boots from Walmart. I got them I think during the pandemic, and you can see how much work that they have been through. So yeah, cool. Let's set this up. I wanted to go over something that I didn't talk about last week. Put us closer to the whiteboard. Sorry, I'm trying to balance everything. Is that closer? Oh, yeah, absolutely not. That is not fine. That is the opposite of fine. You know what fine stands for? Fucked up, needy. No, fucked up, insecure, needy, and emotional. So you can't think. Wait, how's that? It's like I'm looking myself in the eyes. I can drop that one just a bit. Cool, cool, cool. And you can see it. So, take off my expensive coat rack. I probably should have done a recap, but it's okay. I'll recap. So, today's workout, what we did was, we did a bench press. I decided to do a regress version of dumbbell bench because my shoulders hurt. Because of what we did on Saturday. And then I did bent over row with the dumbbells because I didn't want to set up my barbell. And I did that for two hands, or for both hands. And then we did incline flies with the dumbbells, super, super lightweight. to, again, reduce the overall stress on our shoulders, and then did bis and tris and mix it up a little bit. I have a tripod. I could use an eraser though. So I want to go over what we talked about last week, just to recap before the quiz, which was how we structure a workout. And so we do, oh balls, hopefully nobody clips that, the reverse pyramid, right? Where the top one is going to be the main lift, and it can be normally your big four: bench, squat, deadlift, overhead press. So for today it was bench. I know I did a different version today, but the way it was written it was that. And then you have a second, wait for it, dairy. Also called like a fundamental or foundational lift. And for today that was bent over row, which is going to be some kind of slightly regressed version. And so another good variation for this would be like if we were to do leg day, which actually, you know what? That's what I am going to talk about today. So, and then the next would be accessories. I'm not going to spell all that out. But for us today, it was like incline fly. And then normally some type of core. And then you have your warm up and then cool down. And so that is the overarching reverse pyramid, patent pending, trademark pending philosophy that I use to create a program or to create a workout. So now how do we make this expand beyond just a singular workout? I'll explain that here in a second. Yes, I do. I want Bird to become my videographer. So, and so let me grab my book since I actually did all this. So again, actually the one thing I do want to put into this book, or make as as a separate, that's not in this book, is how we actually create the workouts, like how I actually program. I was thinking about it like a DM's exercise workshop or something like that. Like how they have the DM's workshop in the DM's guide, the DMG. And so let's bust this out just like we are now. And so we're doing a 4-day split, right? So we're gonna do, this is how you create a 4-day split. That says split. So we're doing upper, lower, and then upper, lower. Lower. So you can do more than, you can do different types of splits. I'm not saying upper lower is what you need to do, but I personally like doing upper lower the most because I'll explain why as we progress. Am I missing anything? No. Cool. So upper one. Remember how we got the reverse pyramid? I'll put that there. Remember the main, secondary, accessory, we'll say, and then core. You can't see any of that, but we'll just put that there as a reminder. So the first thing on first exercise on every day, that is our main lift. And we already talked about what those were. Class, do we know? Good. Bench, squat, overhead press, and dead lift. Those are my main 4. Those are what I like to kind of center each workout around. And so we did a push here. So naturally we want to do a pull exercise, exactly. So for that, today was bent over row. And for this one, we would do pull up. Which you could also do lat pull downs if you're at the gym, which I don't have a gym. Yeah, there you I don't have a lat pull down machine. So then next is going to be some type of accessory, which we already did, Incline Fly. And for this one, we did another row, so single arm. This is the same workout that we did the last Thursday. Single arm, bent over row, and that's with the dumbbell over on the bench pulling. And so we have 2 presses and a pull, and then we have 2 pulls and a press. If you are doing pull-ups and your goal is to increase your pull-up game, you can put this here in front of the overhead press. But again, it's like the DM's rule, you know, it's your table, you can do what you want. I do that sometimes. You can also superset these two. We do them at the same time. Well, do them back to back and then rest. You can do that. And then bis and tris. Well, I'll write it out. We'll do skulls with seated curls. We'll just do curls. And then core. So I haven't touched on core yet, so we'll just leave it as a generic core. I do have the pulley system, Bird. You said I thought you have the cables for the pulley system. Yes, I do have a pulley system that goes on top of my pull-up bar, but it is really annoying to set up, and I haven't. Actually, the last time I used it was to hang up these boards because I'm, think smarter, not harder type situation. And so we'll also do bis and tris here, which if we did skulls and curls, we can do like easy bar curls and then overhead extension. Boom, just like that. And so bis and tris, and then core. And so you can see how these 2 workouts kind of complement each other. So where you have main push, this is also a main push where you can do a main pull here with your pull-ups. And then we have a pull and a push, and then we have a pull and a push there. And then bis and tris, and then core there. And that is a pretty solid, 30 to 45 minute workout depending on how fast you are. And I always do everything 3 by 10 for the most part. The only exception to that are the main lifts where I might go heavier, lower reps. And so let's do leg day. I like to do them at the same time because it allows me to complement each other back and forth. And we will do that here. So we'll do leg day. Barbell squat, we already talked about that. And then RDLs, Romanian deadlifts. We did these, I think we did them on Tuesday last week. Yeah, we did because we did regular deadlift here. And so RDLs is a good regressed version of a deadlift. And so that is a good secondary foundational lift to do that. And then this one we did dumbbell front squat. I don't know if you guys can actually read the board anyway, but that's dumbbell front squat. You can do regular front squat with a barbell. There's actually a lot of squat variations that you can do. Last week I did goblet squat where I just held one dumbbell in my chest and I did goblet squat there. I was actually talking to somebody on Instagram. They were talking about how you can do rear heel elevated squats. You can absolutely do that. It's really good to do with like a goblet where you have your feet closer together, heels under heels on like a 2x4, like what we use for calf raises, and then hold it tight to your chest and then do a nice squat. You get a really good burn in the quads there. And then next is, so in this it says leg extension, but we don't have a leg extension. So we can do reverse lunges. And for that, you can do dumbbell, you can do body weight. You can do a very progress version and do barbell on your back, so weight on your back. I like doing either dumbbell or body weight. I think last week I did body weight. And then since this is a lunge, moving forward and forward or backward on the same plane, not going up and down, we can do step ups here, so we're adding elevation, or we can do side lunges. If we decided to do front lunges, and to contrast reverse lunges, that's very similar, and so I would rather do a step up or a side lunge. And so for this we'll do step ups.
Actually, I don't even know if that's what I put. I put reverse lunges there because I did leg extension leg there. If you did have a gym, leg extension, leg curls, totally good options there. And then we did standing calf raises, standing calf, and then we did seated calf. Because like we talked about last week, there's two different calf muscles, and your soleus gets hit a little bit more, it gets a little bit more emphasis when doing seated versus standing. I don't necessarily think the change is huge or dramatic, but it's worth having a little bit of variation there. Plus doing standing calf raises 2 days in a row, or 2 days in a week, can get monotonous. So I like adding variety there. And then you can do core. And core. Good. So one thing that I do with a client is we will do arms. Oops. So instead of core, actually he does core too. But we'll do arms, daddy long, and then here. So I know you're thinking, why would you do arms on a leg day? And the answer is because my client asked for it. He wanted to do a little bit more arm work, and he hated lower body. So when you do arms, it makes that go from negative to slightly positive, to where it's more neutral. And there's no rules. Again, we're the DMs, we're the master of our own domains. So you can create the workouts however you want, as long as you get them done and they don't hurt you. So that is how I do a normal, I call it a mesocycle, but how I would do a normal 4-day week. Can you talk about creatine real quick and why it's so beneficial? Great question that I did not actually come up with myself. Yes, so let me finish this thought. So this is what you would call a mesocycle, a training block, whatever you want to call it. You could easily do this for, like I said, 4 weeks. I don't normally change workouts for at least 4 weeks. For some of my clients, longer. Like I said, newbie gains, you can do the same shit for 12 weeks and still see great results. 3x10, I will do heavier weights for these 4 main lifts, and then 3x10 for the accessories. And so, how you would change this moving forward, rough TLDR, change the reps for the main 4. So instead of going like 3x5, do like 4x6 or 3x8, 3x10, you can work your way up or down the rep ladder there. And then swap out these exercises. So instead of barbell RDL, you can do dumbbell RDL or single leg dumbbell RDL. You could do glute bridges. You can do, again, instead of barbell bent over row, you can do double arm dumbbell bent over row. Instead of incline fly, do flat fly. So there's a lot of like micro changes that you can make to really add a lot of variety there while still following the reverse pyramid method. So cool. Give me hearts in the chat if you like that. And then can we talk about creatine? What do I want to know? You can do a whole lot. You can talk. There's a lot that we can talk about with creatine, but thank you. I like creatine. I think it's the most researched supplement there is. It's probably the most beneficial supplement for pretty much everybody. There are some people that have adverse reactions to it, normally in like bloating and GI distress. I have had 1, maybe 2 clients that had adverse reactions to it, and so definitely don't listen to me. Do what you want. Speak to a doctor, obviously. But it is insanely cheap. Yes, very good bird. It is like $20 for a 3-month supply. It's like insanely cheap. Maybe $30, but it's really cheap. And all you do is you take 1 scoop, which tends to be 5 grams, put that in water or whatever you want to take. I tend to take it in the morning because I'll have like a flavor packet or 2 in the morning as like my morning coffee. And so I know I'm going to be drinking that every day. So I put my creatine in there so that way I don't forget about it, or I don't forget it. And so when you take it does not matter. A lot of times people will say you want to take it before a workout, you want to take it after a workout. It takes 30 days for it to reach full effects, to fully saturate your muscles. So when you take it during the day, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is you take it every day. And so you turn it into a consistent habit. Take it every day. Like I said, I take it in the morning because I know it's going to get done. And so it becomes habit there. And there are different types of creatine. Great question. And yeah, I'll get to that, Bird. Yes, so there are different types of creatine. There are a lot of junk creatine, like different junk types of creatine out there. Creatine monohydrate is the best, and it's the cheapest, and it saturates your muscles 100%. So you can't get better than 100%. And the only like downside to that is sometimes people have a more adverse reaction to creatine monohydrate versus other creatine forms. Like there's creatine hydrochloride. That's the only one I know. That's the only other one I know. Creatine HCl. And the other stuff can act faster, but a lot of times it's inferior. And so creatine monohydrate is cheapest by far, by like a factor of like at least 3 most of the times. And it's going to saturate your muscles 100%. Risk of adverse reaction extremely low. And a lot of times the creatine monohydrate's flavorless, so you can add it into anything. So I'll throw it in like a Powerade if I don't have a drink mix or something like that, and you don't taste it. The only time is sometimes it'll be you'll chew on it. It'll be granular, so you can actually just like chew on it a little bit when taking a drink, and that's the only like bad side behind to it. It's not like a protein where it tastes like shit, and so it's great. It to what Bird was saying, it saturates your muscles with blood, essentially water, up to 100%. So they're fully saturated, which makes them bigger and it makes them stronger. And so not only will you look bigger and fuller, up to like 2 weeks is when you start seeing results, and then 4 weeks is where it kind of maximizes. But also you also get stronger, so then you can then build more muscle. So even when you stop taking it, you'll still yield gain. So it's not like something where you, if you stop using it, you lose it. I haven't taken creatine in a couple months, and like I was saying, I've been weak, but I also haven't worked out in a while. And so I'll probably start taking it here soon. My buddy from Mythical Transcendence just sent me some, and I kind of want to give that a try. So, yeah. Did that answer your question? Bird did. Bird had big guns when she was working out and taking creatine. Good question, Pickle. Can you take too much, and should you do it in cycles? You can take too much. Sometimes people will do what's called a loading period, where they'll take like a 2 scoops or 4 scoops within like the first week. You will probably get some kind of GI distress if you take 4 scoops a day. I used to do that. I gave it a try. I didn't do it for very long. I would do like 2 scoops in the morning and like 2 scoops in the afternoon. And let's just say there were some watery stools, and there were some adverse effects, but nothing super crazy. There's a lot of old science or debunked science that they say creatine is bad for your kidneys. That is not true. Based on more common literature, they've done a lot of studies on people with compromised kidneys, and how their body filters it out and everything like that. And creatine is, to my knowledge, completely safe in that respect. Creatine also has a really, really big cognitive component, where you have increased mental clarity, you have increased cognitive function. It also really has a big benefit, according to like current literature. It really has a big impact on like mental wellness. So people with like depression and anxiety like symptoms, taking creatine can really help reduce those symptoms. And those people who want that, they can actually do high doses. I've seen like 20 grams. Like I said, a normal scoop is 5 grams. I've seen doses as high as like 20 grams to help counteract those measures. I don't know the validity behind dosage that way, but I mean, if you want to, just take 4 scoops and see what happens. Like I said, the worst case scenario is you'll probably have a little bit of tummy issues. And should you cycle off of it? You don't really need to. I like doing it because what will happen is I'll run out and I'll just stop buying it. And so I'll cycle off of it, and then I jump back on it a few months later. Not necessarily to flush my system or anything like that. Not like if I were to do other types of cycles like TRT or anything. No, you don't need to. Yeah. So that's that. I'm a big fan of creatine. That's like the one supplement I really, really, really recommend people take. Obviously do their own research and don't listen to me. I'm not a doctor, but I think creatine is one of the most beneficial supplements you can take, and how cheap it is, with it, like I said, being $20 for $20 to $30 for a 3-month supply, compared to like crazy $70 for a month supply of protein, which is ridiculous. I get all my supplements from either like Walmart, wherever it's the cheapest. But again, I'm trying my buddy's subs out, and his are so far pretty good. I've tried his pre-workout, and I've liked it. So, especially since most pre-workouts kind of taste like shit. What is my favorite pre-workout? I don't really have one, because I take it so sporadically that I don't really have one that I absolutely love. Maybe Trey's from MT will be that one. But the flavor that he gave me is like it's like a lemony one, and it's not bad. It doesn't taste like you would expect one of those like lemon lime ones to be, because that tends to be a really strong flavor, and this one tastes pretty good. So yeah, that's that. This is how you create a mesocycle, and remember to always take your creatine. It's an hour and 18 minutes into the stream, 65 minutes into my workout. I should probably turn that off. But that is that. We did a nice, easy, chill day. Kind of phoning it in. Working out at 9 is not the easiest thing for me. And so I'm here. I'm showing up. I know that's the hardest part. It's the hardest part for most people. So like I said, if I can be here, be your gym buddy at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Actually, this is Eastern Daylight Savings Time. But anyway, if I can be your gym buddy at 9 p.m., or if you're watching the VOD, whenever fits best your time, then I feel like these serve their purpose. And I can also splice shit like doing these lectures into short form / medium long form. Yeah. Thanks, Bird. No, tomorrow. We'll be working out today. This week, I'm going to try to work out Monday through Thursday. With Halloween being Friday, I don't know if I want to stream, but we'll see how it goes. If Picklefoot texts me on Wednesday asking if I want to play Magic, I might have to say yes to that, like we did last week. And I also wouldn't mind doing a Halloween themed stream, but I might do that on Thursday if I'm not streaming on Friday. So we will see. Awesome. Other than that, everybody have a fantastic evening. And again, last plug, if you want this bad bitch, 330 pages, completely free ebook. It is in our Discord. If you are not in the Discord, link is in the Instagram bio. And chances are, if you're watching this, you came from one of those two places. And then if you're watching the workout VOD on YouTube, the Discord is going to be in the description, as well as our socials. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And what do you do here? Follow, I think, on Twitch. So awesome. You guys have a fantastic evening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.